Welcome to the Logic in Life Coaching Podcast, episode 11.
Everyone wants happiness and success, and we know how to get you there. Come listen to the Leadership Society of Arizona as we teach a proven logic to help you simplify life, overcome challenges, and predict the future. You're listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. My name is Chuck Solanas, and I'm joined by Dr. Jacob Kashiwagi. He's our very special guest. Let's give him a warm welcome to just welcome him on the show. I don't know.
This is such a privilege every week.
Every week. There it is. Great. Well, we are excited to have you on, Dr. Jacob. I've got some questions for you, and I think these are going to stump you.
Okay, so I'm waiting for that day. Chuck.
Okay. All right. So the question for today is, why do bad things happen to good people?
Whoa, that is a good question. Why do bad things happen to good people? Well, the answer to that is, Chuck, bad things do not happen to good people. Ever. But it looks like you don't like my answer to this, Chuck.
Well, I think of myself as a good person, and then I get all these problems in my life, and I think, I'm not a bad person. What's going on?
Okay, I can understand that. But what are you considering bad?
I consider bad when let's say, for example, my dog brings ticks into the house. That
is bad.
That's not fun. So I think, well, why do I deserve this? Well, maybe it's because I got a dog that sifts through the trash, but I mean, I don't know. Getting ticks in the house, that's not fun.
Okay, so, I can see what you're saying here. Chuck, like if you're a person who's going about doing his thing, good guy, kind to other people, trying to be productive citizen, trying to respect and keep your house clean and organized, then how could something like your dog getting ticks and bringing it into your house ever happen to you?
Right.
Now, here's the thing is, the issue is those type of things are harder. So we got to take this to the extreme here. So let's take a person who spent millions of dollars, developed a lot of nonprofit organizations, gets to be like 50 years old. You know, they're still kind of young in the prime of their life, and they get cancer. And they're suffering through this. And a lot of people look at that and say, this is such a good person. Why does something so bad happen to him? And this is the thing that people don't realize, is that usually they consider bad things, things that are painful, things that are not as maybe efficient, things that are not as uplifting, things that are not things where people can be happy with. And what I always tell people is you need to remember that life is very fair in the sense that when you follow and understand correct principles, then things less painful, things that are more efficient, things that bring happiness more to people, that's what comes when you follow correct principles. And when you don't follow correct principles, that's when painful things happen and things that people usually consider bad happen. Does this make sense?
Right.
So let's go back to our guy. He's going through something painful, but he seems to follow all these correct principles. But the issue here is that, was this person who helped so many people, was this person following all correct principles in his whole life, in every area of his life? Was this person abiding by natural laws and good, correct principles in every aspect of his life? And the thing about it is, most people, they'll look at this person and say, yes, this person was 100% great. But the reality of it is that no, this person isn't 100% following all the correct principles. This person might have been following very good, correct principles in terms of people. And so when this person gets cancer, there's probably a lot of people who feel sympathy for this person, who's going to come to this person's aid and help this person and send this person lots of notes and thank yous and show gratitude for this person, because this person was helping a lot of people. He understood people. He was following correct principles dealing with people. But this person might not have been following correct principles in dealing with this person's physical body. This person might have been eating, a lot of junk food, or maybe this person might not have been eating at all, or maybe he was just eating the wrong types of foods, or maybe he was staying up really late at night so his body couldn't heal from things. There's a million things, right, that could be happening here. And that's why this person might have gotten cancer. And so what I always tell people is you need to realize that no one escapes natural law. That when you follow correct principles in certain areas, that you're always going to get what we call good results from that. But when you don't, you'll always get bad results. The key is you have to understand people and what they're actually doing in every aspect of their life. And so a lot of people, they'll look at someone who's like really rich, right? And this person might be like the worst person in the world and not be giving it all and just be terrible to other people. But they might be thinking, oh, this terrible person has so much money and he's being blessed and he's cheating and he's getting good things off of doing the bad things. But they don't realize is, yes, this person in certain areas of his life or her life might not be doing the best. But because they're not doing the best things in that area, that's why they also have a lot of people who don't like them. That's why they might have a lot of issues with their family and relationship. That might be also why they don't get along with a lot of people, and a lot of people don't want to work with them as well. But this person also might be following correct principles, such as he might be following correct principles of wealth. He might know how to use money. He might know how to make money. He might know the things he should be investing in. So in the aspects of life where he's following correct principles, this person will experience good things. In the aspects of life where he's not following correct principles, bad things, right? And this is something that we need to understand as we look at other people here. So let's look at your tick problem, right?
Yeah.
You're a great guy, but maybe you're not following the most correct principles in terms of the behavior of your dog and watching your dog and giving enough attention to your dog. Are you walking your dog enough, right? All of these things come into, getting this tick problem. So does that kind of help clear things up?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that if you're following the right principles, whatever they may be, we're not saying that we know all the correct principles, because then we'd be perfect at everything, and we would only have good results in everything.
You got it.
So we're just saying that if there is a correct principle, if you are following that correct principle, then you're going to lead to good results, or what we consider good.
You got it. Now there's something else here too, is sometimes a good result does happen, but we don't understand it was a good result. So for example, sometimes you might be like, I'm such a good person, I got straight A's through college, I have been applying for all the jobs I can, I've been getting training, I've been doing interviews, I'm the best at these things, and I didn't get the job I wanted, and that's a bad thing. But it could be that you don't realize that there's a better job out there. And if you just waited a year, then you'd look back and say, actually, that was so good that didn't happen to me, because I found this other job that has higher pay, more benefits, greater satisfaction. I can do what I want. And in a year, you're like, I'm so glad I lost that other job and I didn't get hired, right?
Mm.
And so sometimes you might be thinking, oh, that's a bad thing happening to me or to other people, but in the end, it might be a good thing, actually.
You're just not seeing it correctly. It's
Yeah.
hard to connect the dots forward.
You know, I always tell people about my incident where I worked hard. I was going to go into a doctorate of public administration at ASU. I got accepted to the program. I, for many of the master's courses, I was doing research with professors in the public administration department. And so I knew people, I was doing my due diligence, but then an opportunity to get into the School of Construction came in. I thought, okay, this is a good thing too. What ended up happening is some things, my father was working in the School of Construction as a full professor. They didn't want to let me in because they felt it was nepotism, whatever it might be. So what happened is in 1 month span, I got kicked out of the public administration doctorate program, and I wasn't accepted into a construction management doctorate program. And so I was left with no PhD program, and I had did all this research work in public administration.
How did you get kicked out of the PA program?
Because they claimed that I didn't register quick enough or something, and I missed the deadline. And I talked to the head professor, who's the dean over the college, I guess, and they wouldn't let me in. And I don't know, it's really weird that they wouldn't let me back in, or they wouldn't let me register for my classes. I didn't even know I had been kicked out until I tried to register. But yeah, it was really weird. And a lot of times, well, back then, a lot of times I was telling myself, well, this is crazy. I don't know how this could be happening to me. But what ended up happening was it was such a good thing, even though I thought it was a bad thing at the time, because I ended up being accepted by the youngest full professor in the Netherlands. He was the youngest person to become a full professor in the Netherlands. He volunteered to mentor me and let me get my doctorate degree from his university, which was an prestigious engineering university in the Netherlands. And I was able to do that. I did less work because in Europe at the time, you didn't have to take any classes. So all I had to do was my research work. And I could still keep my full-time job at ASU. And I could do whatever I wanted because this professor was really nice and awesome. And I could work with my father like I wanted to still. And just so many things. I didn't have to pay any money for it because he offered to do it for free because I was helping him with the research work. So it was the most amazing deal. And I got to visit Europe a couple times a year to brief my professors on my progress. And so it was like the most amazing thing. But I didn't know it was going to be the most amazing thing. And so when I got kicked out of my PhD program, I thought, this is terrible. When in reality, it was like the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Wow. Some would call you lucky.
Yes, actually, many people call me very lucky. Board games, just like driving, all sorts of stuff.
You're lucky driving? That's not a good sign, Jacob.
With my skill level at driving, that I haven't gotten into an accident or whatnot, I mean, I'm lucky, okay?
I don't think that's a good type of luck. I think that's like you need to watch yourself kind of luck.
Chuck, you seem a little concerned, but don't worry, I won't be driving on the road when you're driving, okay?
Hey, I'm trying to watch out for you, man. Okay, well, that makes sense. That if you continue to do the right things, you do good things, that you're going to get the benefit of following those correct principles. And if you continue to do bad things, you're going to get the result of following those bad principles. So my example, which you used in your book, was when I I sprained my knee. And I had been on this diet of peanut butter sandwiches, like 5 peanut butter sandwiches every day. And so and I would have that, and then I would have pasta every night. And only on occasion I'd have like nutritious stuff. So my body was like slowly deteriorating. And then I just got on this competitive kick one game, and I sprained my knee, and I couldn't play racquetball anymore. But it really was a sequence of a lot of different events that led to me spraining my knee and having these issues, which had I just followed correct principles up front, then I wouldn't have had any sort of health issues further down. So,
but also, it's one, then you started to learn correct principles, and you start to redevelop and come back from that.
Yeah.
And so even though technically it was a bad result because you're following incorrect principles, it actually ended up also being a very good thing in your life because it taught you and you learned and you improved. You became better.
Right. Yeah, and I have a little better diet now, and I'm a little more conscientious of when I'm overstressing my body or whatever. So I've had other issues. I used to have a lot of health issues when I would play sports, and I would get hurt all the time. So now I'm doing a lot better with that. So
we always have to leave people with like a challenge or something they can do.
Okay.
Yes. So what I always propose people is when you look at things and you feel that bad things are happening to your life, even though you're doing good things, my proposal is to really look at what bad things you think are happening and find something you can change to maybe improve that.
Right.
Because even though you might think you're doing nothing wrong, if you find something to change, usually you can find something that will actually end up improving your life. And then you'll also get a greater understanding of how bad things actually happen to you, and that bad things can never happen to 100% good people, right?
Right.
And
turning lemons into lemonade.
So that's one action that you can do. And the other thing is you can really look into things. Really, when you see something that seems like something bad is happening to a really good person, to actually learn more about that person and learn what they were doing in this area that you saw a bad thing happening in their life. And usually you can start seeing the natural law and understanding what information you're missing. And so those are two things you can do.
Yeah, Nelson Mandela is a good example. And I think we have a video on our LSA blog about that.
You got it, yes.
On the LSA channel, yeah. And then the third one, do you have a third advice?
Yes.
That we always include?
If you want to learn that this idea is correct and really get help with this and learn this quicker, you get a mentor.
Yeah.
Find a mentor. The mentor can help you understand the cause and effect greater, so you can kind of see that the natural laws always take effect.
Definitely. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I think that's all we have for today. That's some great advice. Anytime you think that something bad is going on in your life, maybe just take a deeper look into what you're doing and how you can correct things. So appreciate your time, Dr. Jacob, and
thank you,
have
Chuck.
a great rest of your day. Thank you for listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. It would be great if you could take a moment to write us a review. For any questions, comments, or topics that you would like to have addressed on the show, email the team at leadaz.org. To learn more about the Leadership Society of Arizona, visit us at leadaz.org.